Hey everyone, Jared Sandler here with the newest Texas Ranger outfielder Brandon Nimmo, who just got a tour of the facilities. First time being here, I guess, as a member of the organization. I know you played games here with the Mets, but what are your first impressions?
Great facilities, unbelievable place to play. Just excited for the fans to get here and for the season to start. It's something that just when you come in here and you see the facilities and you see what the Rangers have. You just know that the sky's the limit, and I'm really excited to impart any wisdom that I can onto the players and what we're going to do for this year. But I'm really excited, especially getting out on that field. I'm excited for the fans to get there and excited to see this place rocking again.
Now, you were traded here, but you had a choice. You had a no trade clause. You decided to waive that to be here. What stood out to you about all the conversations you had about why this would be a good fit for you and your family?
Yeah, I was telling CY actually just a few minutes ago that, when we went through the trade process, obviously I was looking at trying to win a World Series and would the Rangers be capable of that? And when I look at the roster and I look at the guys and I see what they're capable of and I see the names and I see, how the starting pitching did last year and the relievers did. And, I see the names that are in the offensive lineup. Like, for me, I see all the pieces of a World Series team here. So, first and foremost, that was the most important thing for me. And that's what I continue to see when I come over here and I tour the facility. I see, people, really just looking to win another World Series and ready to do whatever it takes in order to make that happen. CY is trying to build a group of good character guys, and he wants that to be at the core, and so it's just a lot of principles that I believe in, and I see a team that's capable of winning a World Series, and it's something that I want to be a part of.
You shared a story a couple weeks ago about how you developed as a hitter against left-handed pitching.
Yeah.
It was very detailed, and it was clear. It was a very intentional process for you. And it seems like that's a big part of who you are, just being very intentional about how to go from point A to point B.
100%.
Have you always been that way? How did that come about?
I would say I've been that way to a point, but it takes some sort of maturity and trying things and failing as you go along in order to iron some of that out. It's part of playing in the big leagues and seeing, okay, I've seen this work for a lot of different guys, and I've seen, this not work for a lot of different guys, and I've tried it out personally, and unfortunately, there's not one way to be a big leaguer. There's a lot of trial and error and seeing it your own way, and so one of the ways that I found out was being very intentional about how I go about my work and how I prepare for my work. And so doing that, I've always, said now from, I'd say, 2019 on, just because that's the way it's always been done isn't a good enough reason for me. And so I dive in with the analytics team. I dive in with our coaching staff. I dive in with the players. And I try and get a bunch of different perspectives so that we can hone in on one, great way to do things and be very intentional about it. And so I would say it's something that's come along with being in this game and maturing more. But I've always wanted to work hard, and I've always wanted to prepare the right way. So the will has been there. It's just finding the right way along, and I've been able to stick around long enough to try and find that out.
When the Rangers traded for you, I'm sure I'm not alone. I got so many text messages from people who knew you from the Mets or just from the baseball world. You're not going to meet a nicer guy than Brandon Nimmo, or Brandon Nimmo's fill in the blank. But how meaningful is that to you that as you travel around, you carry that type of a reputation?
Oh, it's so meaningful to me. For me, it's even more important than what people think of me as a baseball player. And, I definitely want to be the very best baseball player that I can be. But one thing that I can control each and every day is how I treat people. And I want to treat people with the same respect that I would like to be treated with. You can control how you act and how you conduct yourself on a daily basis. I received such an overwhelming support when this news broke out. And I really felt it. And for me, that is just one of the biggest things in life is those relationships.
All right. Being from Wyoming, a lot of outdoors in you and in your family. bull riding. So was that something you did at a young age, or you wanted to do it?
Yeah, I wanted to be a bull rider when I was really young. You could ask my parents. I used to have this like bouncy ball that I would ride on, and it had like a handle, and I had the bull riding magazine, and it would have the different bulls in there, and I'd say, okay, I'm riding, Red Rock today, or I'm riding, Bodacious, or so I would do it all the time, and I wanted to be a bull rider. And my parents, they knew that it wasn't if you get hurt, it's when you get hurt, and so we kind of had like a rite of passage when I was younger, and it was to get on a calf when you're around like 7 or 8 years old. And the goal was accomplished about my second time on there. Maybe it was the third. The calf came around, stepped on my ankle, and I said, you know what, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. So we went the baseball route, and I think it turned out okay.
It's a good choice. I know the Rangers are happy you went that route. I know the Mets were happy to have you for all those years. Excited to watch Brandon Nimmo in a Rangers uniform. New Ranger outfielder Brandon Nimmo, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me on.